this is the painting I did today, and I'm gonna show you the whole step-by-step start to finish here. So I'm gonna paint on a panel, and I need to select what colors I'm going to use. I like to try out my colors on a tile, and I like to put a tile next to my painting anyway, because sometimes I want to clear my brush on it, or sometimes I want to pick up extra ink from the tile if I have little fiddly bits I want to mess with. But I'm going to test out all of my colors and make sure that they all work together. I like to limit myself to just one yellow, one red, and one blue. But I do want to make sure that the colors I've chosen will look good together, and also that they don't have any strange reactions when they go together and blend. So I'm just trying out, making sure that all of the colors will work before I get started. I'm going to paint on an artist panel. This is a primed artist panel, and it's called cradled. That means that it's thick there on the sides. You can kind of see this one's about an inch thick on a 5x7 panel, and it comes already ready to paint on. It works fantastic for alcohol ink. When I begin a painting, I don't really like to work from just the bright white. So I'm going to use my colors and just create a sizing for the background. So I'm just going to use all of them, put them kind of randomly everywhere, and smear them around a bit until I can get sort of a middle value. So there's nothing too light and nothing too dark happening. So I can work from there as my starting point. Sometimes when I do this, I'll end up with some extra special little areas that are inspiring to me. So those are what I like to work for coming up with what's going to be in my painting. This painting is going to be a landscape painting, just based on the colors I chose and sort of the ideas in my head. But I don't really know what the parts are until I see how this step happens. So once it comes up with something interesting, I'll run with whatever is the interesting parts that it has. I used a little bit of alcohol to get my colors to flow a little bit, spread them out, and just a cotton ball to smear it around. So I'm pretty happy with how it is right now, and I can start to see some stuff happening here, and that top corner looks like trees to me, so I'm gonna add in some darks and make some details out of that that will then be in my final painting. I kind of just look for stuff in there hidden around the little dots and colors and say, oh, that looks like it could be a tree. So I'm going to make it a tree. Since I've defined that tree, I want to get in here and add some more details to make my painting look like something. I'm going to put in a horizon line so that I know where the end is here. And I can get in here and make some shadows and things with my brush. This top area here looks like the sky, but it needs to be lighter. So just some alcohol sprayed onto a cotton ball. I can remove as much of that ink as I want. And I like to leave some of the color still in there so that it matches my painting. It's not just bright white everywhere, but it does get a really nice effect, and you can get the free shadows in there as well when you remove the ink right there from the background. So I'm gonna get in here and paint. Sometimes I just drop it on, and sometimes I use the brush and move it around, but it definitely needs some highlights and it needs some shadows, and I really want to have good mixes of my colors to integrate the different colors, but not lose any of those interesting things hidden up top there. I can use a Q-tip to get in and make some extra adjustments. Just dabbing it. It's got some alcohol on there, and I can just dab it on there and it'll move the ink that's already down, and it'll also lift any ink that I want to lift off, the same way the cotton ball did. And just touching it onto my ink, it'll make little circles of alcohol pushing the ink out of the way, and that's a great way to pick up some extra highlights and some interesting shapes, and just to make it all kind of match better, because you get lots of those round shapes everywhere. I'm going to speed this up a bit, but just use those same techniques to come in here, put paint in, lift paint off, move it around with my brush or with my Q-tip, or even just dropping some alcohol on there and watching the inks move a little bit. Probably the thing that I most want to accomplish when I do a painting like this is to have there be good balance of color, so I don't end up with all of my greens in one area or all of my reds in one area. So I'll keep moving around my inks until I've got good balance of color, and I'm trying still to find special little places where I really like the effects and I don't want to cover them up, or where I want to enhance what I've already found that I did by accident. That especially comes up a lot. But I want to get all my colors down, make sure that I have shadows in the right place and highlights in the right place. And then I can go ahead and let the ink do what it wants to do for the rest of it. So I want to have good balance in my color, but also I would like there to be good balance in my shapes. So I'm adding in a lot of alcohol to just make those shapes all be similar. So what I have up in the top and what I have in the middle and what I have in the foreground as well, all have some round shapes and some pointy shapes. So as I finish up with my shapes, I can just get all these little finishing touches, make sure I've got enough highlights, make sure everything's balanced in the color, in the shapes, in everything. I got shadows going, and I'm pretty happy with the result. So thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll have more videos soon.